Now. Not then, not later, but now. So we hope that you're enjoying whatever your weather pattern may be. If you're watching in the sunny Pacific Northwest where we are, then it's beautiful. Oops. And yes, it might have been muffled. But if you're somewhere else where it's not so sunny, it might even be the nighttime where you're watching at. We still want to send sunshine to you. Send them sunshine, team. My name, say your first name and why you're excited today. My name's Andre, and I'm excited because my team's excited. They're shining.
My name's Jaleel, Business Education Coordinator. I'm excited because we just got another sponsor in the books for our department. And we love that because it's a testament that there's someone out there in the community. There's another organization that has put their money where their mouth is, saying that they want to be a part of the work that we're doing. All right. It's like all the programs that we run is not free. All right. Someone has to partner with it. We have to raise money through grants, donations, sponsorships, all these things. And then the people get to be beneficiaries. Every program participant is a beneficiary of someone else's investment. And so we locked in another sponsor today, and it's just amazing because it's like, all right. And I'm excited for where that relationship's going to go in the community. So shout out to the team. Shout out to the community for putting their money where their mouth is. So here we go.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, good work to you. My name is Mara Palmer. I am the Economic Development Program Manager. And to my left, what are you excited for?
What are you excited
Oh,
about? Name and what you're excited about. First name, what you're excited about.
let's see.
Jaleel was preaching, so it made you lose track. I understand. He said, and point number 3, I'm thankful for.
Well, I'm always thankful that I'm happy and healthy, but especially this weekend because it's Mother's Day. And my children are all thriving and the sun is shining. So, hello.
And I'm Michelle, and I'm also excited too because it's Friday.
So today's grand topic that we will be covering, it's rare that we have the sun, so you can see that it brings out the sillies, but nevertheless, we press. Today we have the great topic of covering. Michelle, roll it out. Drum roll, please. Go ahead. Roll out for her.
5 paths to prosperity, exploring diverse ways to fund your business.
Why don't you kick the conversation off? Tell us what's on your heart today.
Well, as we're in last night we wrapped up our 11th week of Sharks at the Beach, and one of the ways that we support businesses in raising capital for their business is hosting a pitch competition every year that you can apply to the cohort, get into the cohort, get support for business coaching and filling out your business model canvas, and then pitching and having an opportunity to win money for your business. So that is one of the ways, and we can even, I guess, start the conversation there. And this was on my heart just because I know that a lot of people, that's a hard thing when they decide to start a business. It's like, where am I going to get the money to do this? Like, I have the heart, I have the thought, the mind for it. I can work on it. I can work hours on it, and that's what these entrepreneurs do. They come to our class for about 3 hours, 2.5 hours, 3 hours, but the work that they put into their business outside of that is a lot. Meeting with their coaches, perfecting their pitches, practicing their pitches, building out their model canvases. And then so that's one piece of it. But the other piece of it is realistically, you do need money to start your business. So we're going to chat about 5 different ways that you can raise money for your business. And so the first one we'll talk about is pitching.
All right. Well, as the program manager, I am tasked with being knowledgeable of the additional resources for our people out in the community. And I have worked with several other nonprofit organizations that also offer pitching competitions. And some of our alumni have gone on to successfully pitch and win with the other nonprofits in the area. So it's important to do your research, for one. But if you don't know where to start, we are the right place for you because we can definitely point you in the right direction, help clear your mind of what actually is required to express your enterprise idea with confidence and solicit those early adopters because those are the people that will support you and help you get off the ground. Oh, you got your own mic.
Yeah, bingo. I mean, one of our namesake sharks that won Sharks of the Beach, what, 2022 or 2023?
2022.
2022, and then came back as a judge and a session
21,
leader.
actually. It would
Was
be
it 21?
It would be 21.
21. Yolanda Barton of Revere XR is her company. She's in the tech VR XR space, and her story is amazing because literally she got her start here. I believe she was a Seattle local. She had moved to Texas. She returned home. She had a vision, and Urban Impact was the incubator for her success. So she studied, she applied herself, and then this was her first pitching competition, her first educational, kind of what do you call that, like incubator. And then she took what she learned and then she applied it and then ran it up to 100K. Like,
It's possible.
when you apply education, you know what I'm saying? People spend so much time on YouTube, so much time in conversation because they feel so good. Because if I talk about it with my friends at the bar or wherever you're talking about it, YouTube University, like, oh yeah, I watched the video. But what'd you do with it? You know what I'm saying? Education without application is a waste of time. So when we have systems like this where she came in, she knew what she wanted, she got everything out of it, and then some, and now she's continuing to pave her own path forward, making all kind of other connections with entities like Meta and University of Washington and NVIDIA. Like, come on, So pitching and prior to this work, I didn't know that you could go out there and pitch your business idea in 3 to 5 minutes and earn money from that. I didn't know that prior to this work. So it's a game changer.
I concur. I endorse everything that they just said. No, the reality of doing your due diligence, when Mara alluded to that, of figuring out what's available for you, because if you don't even set your mind on what it is that you want to find, so people can always make excuses as to why. I talked to someone earlier today. It was frustrating because it's someone I care about, and I asked them because they were complaining about where they were at in particular in their life. And I know this person and I know all the abilities. And I don't know, I'm not God, but I know enough from what I've seen as their friend to be like, you packing some good, abilities and skills and talents. And there's these attributes about you. And they were frustrated with their present employment situation. And I'm like, you could make way more than that just off of if you would just take the time to slow down and stop thinking, and think, because you're running so much. So just assess what it is that you're carrying. And then, hey, why don't you start a consulting company based upon this expertise that you have? And they, oh, well, I don't know. And I'm just like, but you're still complaining about this is what you're being paid and it's not enough. And then here's the point I'm making is that if you're saying, I want to start my business, but, I've heard all the, people it's a white people's world, or, I'm a female, or I'm a this or that. For all of us that say all the reasons why we can't, there are those that are just looking and executing and making it happen. So that's my encouragement to you, is like pushing through the barriers of saying, first off, identify, as Mara said, what's around you. So that's assessing, that's saying, all right, what opportunities are out here? What pitch competitions are there? What programs are there where I can learn how to pitch? What videos can I watch? If we want to allude to YouTube University, I'm going to study the best pitches that have been most compelling, and I'm going to study the different formats. This was the long form. This was the short form. This is the kind of documentation. This is how they built their slides. These are the colors that they use. These are the phrases that they use to engage. These are the questions they prepared themselves for after the pitch was over and they were being scrutinized about their business. This is how they presented their numbers. This is how they pivoted. This is their body language. This is the way that they dress. So you're studying and you're dissecting it like you're in a lab so that you can get the result that's going going to work for you. Then when we talk about the Yolanda broke down to us, and she came and she spoke to our entrepreneurs in the last cohort, and she was breaking down the game that she literally came on for like a 15-minute call, and really just because of the passion that she has and the desire that she had and the generosity that she had to share the information, that she was really unpacking to them and saying, man, I've walked into rooms with just a few people, no bigger than this, and people are walking out with these large sums of money from pitching. This is a whole world I didn't even know was available. So what is the information, and how can you communicate? How can you learn to become effective at communicating your message, what it is that you're building? How can you learn to be compelling? How can you learn to be persuasive? What are those attributes? See, the very things that you might have gotten in trouble for all the time when you were in school, you might have been persuasive, but you were getting kicked out of the class because you had more persuasion than the teacher. So you're getting all the attention, and you're using your so-called power for evil because you might be distracting everybody, and everybody's playing and they're off task. But that's a gift set that needs to be developed. It needs character around it. So just want to encourage you that no matter what place you are and you find yourself, oh, I'm more intimidated or I'm more introverted, it doesn't matter. Learn how to push, how to make those butterflies line up. When you think about the value of, if I don't deliver this, what are the lives that are attached to this that will suffer? There's something that you're carrying that can be transformative for so many other people and can open up opportunities. So just want you to push past the kind of the fears and the limitations and the programming that makes you feel and believe that you're not qualified to play in the game. You're not even qualified to play in the sandbox. I had a meeting prior to coming here, and we were talking about that, about just kind of the brainwashing of, we can give people things that are kind of Band-Aids that just help them continue to stay in the same way, or we can help them to say, all right, yep, this meets the immediate need that kind of keeps the lights on, but we want you to also see bigger, play bigger, upskill bigger, dream for something that will shift and bring generational wealth. We want those 1,500, 1,000x returns, and they're available in certain sectors if you would do your due diligence and you would research. So that's just an encouragement to those that the power of a compelling and effective pitch, learning how to harness your words as energy, learning how to put them out there, learning how to look for a return on that investment, learning how to become nuanced in how you communicate. And I'm glad Michelle picked this to say, like, there are different pathways, but that first one with pitching, it is very, don't sleep on it, is what I'm saying. You might think, I'm not qualified to do it. Well, if there's people that it's their first time doing it and they did it, and the next year they raise almost over 100,000 or about 100,000, oh, come on. Even if they raise 10,000 more than they did, it's a win.
It's still a win.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and this is why we're going to talk about 5 different ways, because, some people don't feel comfortable going up there. Obviously, we encourage you to challenge yourself and go up there and try something new. But it's all right if it's not your thing. We've had plenty of people who go through our program, and then they get to the pitch and they're just like, man, I really can't do this. So we'll go over the 4 other ways. But one other thing that I want to encourage about pitching is that, we talked to our entrepreneurs in the Sharks of the Beach program about this, that you're now, we're expected to have 100 people in the room that night. You're not just there to win money. This is an opportunity for you to now have 100 new clients, 100 people this is like free promotion.
Come on, Michelle.
We're sending out emails with the stories of each of these entrepreneurs and their products, and people are getting to know all these entrepreneurs before time. They're going to be on the collateral. They'll be all over our Facebook. I mean, they're getting free promotion.
Yep.
You can think of it as that. Your business has now been shown off to 100 new clients, and potentially more than that, because these emails are going out to many more people. So just think about that. And then also be prepared when you show up to a pitch competition. Have your business cards on you. Have your flyers on you. Have ways that people can. Somebody asked me this last night. Like, should I put my phone number on like phone number and like ways for
code, all that.
the QR code on my slides. And I said, I mean, you think about that. Do you want people to be able to rewatch it and be able to just have the
Reach you?
QR code
Bingo.
there and information of how to find you? Like,
Yes.
Come on.
I think so. I would
Yes,
think so, but
brilliant.
I'm gonna let you think about that.
Good.
So that's another thing that is powerful about pitching.
Yeah, that's real. And before we start talking about our last thing on pitching, just because it's on all of our minds. Okay, all right. So just forgive us. The thing is when you can take advantage of.
Say it.
You need to learn how to say it. All right. Shout out to this perfect book.
I saw it out of the blue.
Yeah.
They
Show
have
the
to learn
people.
that.
Show the people. Learn how to say it.
There we
Okay.
go.
All right. Leveraged events. Leveraged events. When anytime you can get into a space where it's one to many, you're maximizing your time and the potential of what you're trying to accomplish. So like you can do 100 coffee meetings that will take you a year, or you could talk to 100 people in one event. You know what I'm saying? It's just momentum. And so it's and public speaking is a huge fear for most people. But the thing is, one of the things we do is we help you through that in our program. We literally have it's 12 weeks, but over the last 4, we're in person. We sponsor dinners for our participants, and we're helping them overcome their stage fright, start to get acquainted with their messaging, figure out where their confidence is so that they can learn how to present themselves. Because once you have that superpower, you're pitching all the time. I mean, if you got kids, they're pitching to you all the time. Why they want to go to McDonald's. I was pitching to my dad all the time. And he pitched back. You got McDonald's money? He hit me every time. I had no response to the objection until I learned how to cut grass and then make my own money. And then I had McDonald's money. You know what I'm saying? All right? So we're all pitching every time. You see a great movie, you're pitching to other people about that movie. Everything that you're doing in life is a pitch. So the real question is, do you want to pitch for something that's going to make you money? And if not, or what is so scary about it, really? What's so scary about it? So, but there are that's a whole nother tangent. I'm going to just shut myself down.
Number 2.
Next one. What's our next
All right,
episode?
the next one that we can all chat about is bootstrapping.
Ooh.
I mean, we all know about it. How can you use your own money to fund your business? I've been listening to, we talk about this book all the time, but Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And something he said, I've been listening to it because I'm such a slow reader, and I need to take some of the classes Andre has told me to take about speed reading. But, I kind of actually enjoy reading every word. So, anywho, moving on from that. So, one thing that he said that has stuck with me is that when he puts every dollar he puts away, he thinks of that dollar as his employee. And he says, how can I make this dollar work for me? I was like, wow, I'm going to think about that, because I'm so quick to just jump on any app and spend some money, But instead of spending some money, how can I think about grabbing that money I was going to spend and putting it away and making it work for me? So that really just changed my mindset about how to look at a dollar bill. And so bootstrapping, that's a way that you can do it, right? It's like, how do you take that dollar and put it away, and what are you going to do with it?
I was going to say, just to add on to your comment about the each one of them are an employee, you said? Mm-hmm. Dolly Parton is known as one of the most prolific songwriters ever. It was about 30 years ago that she had over 3,000 songs written. So it has to be way more than that. She's still writing songs to this day. So imagine a catalog of, say, 70,000 songs. I'm saying 70,000, but let's say 10,000 songs. Let's say she's got 10,000 songs written. She said, I see my songs, I treat them like my children. She said, I want them to take care of me when I get older. And I was like, that is a profound investor's mindset of not just today. Like you said that with your dollar, if each one of them is an employee that works for you, if you think about that and you even you come out, you lift up and go higher, and you say, what about time? If you assign each hour as an employee that works for you, what's the value that you put into that hour? That's going to determine how fast and how far and how long that hour can stretch. Because that hour for some people can move really slowly based upon how they maximize that hour. And for others, it moves so swiftly because they didn't value the time. It's like Newton's time versus Einstein's time. Newton saw time as it's just going like this, and then an hour is an hour. Einstein brought in the concept of, and others, of course, he wasn't the only person, but relativity. So which means is every 5 seconds the same? Well, 5 seconds to someone who has their hand on a hot stove is different than 5 seconds to someone who's just sitting in a room sipping lemonade on a beautiful day, right? It's like, so that reality of how do you view time? You know what I mean? You're just chilling.
That's a different 5 seconds. That's a different 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's a whole different 5 seconds. So think about that with the resource that you have when she talks about how can you stretch a dollar. If you're about to invest, put your own bread up and you're saying it might be a slower process. So, but I hear people, they're so lazy when it comes to paying for the prototype or something, or the basis of it, of the as they call it, the MVP, the minimal viable product, that they won't even put together the that to make my labels, they say that it'll be this, and they don't put up a GoFundMe if you haven't put any bread up for yourself. Nobody wants to fund you laying at home taking their money to do something. I want to encourage that has became a mindset for some people, is that they think that we're going to fund your dream, and you haven't even put the due diligence into your own dream. Where all of us sitting here can talk about where there were times where we're like, dude, I put the bread up because my bread first was going to be indicative of, we see that if we're driving down the road and you see somebody who's on the side of the road and they're just chilling in their car, but most people are going to pass that person up. But if you see somebody who's out pushing their car, people will get out and help that person push and navigate that car. Right. So are you pushing your vehicle to where it needs to go? Are you putting your own bread up first? That's why, we talk about Shark Tanks a lot, and we allude to that. But on Shark Tank, they always ask that question: how much of your own money is in? Yeah. Because they want to see when they were like, oh, nothing. And they're like, okay, well, but you're asking for our money. You want us to take all the risk and all the this and all of that, and you haven't even proven that you're profitable. No, thanks. Yeah. Keep your garage full of products. I'm out. So for you, when it comes to, are you putting your bread up to even get the base things paid for, and then you can go to the Kickstarter. Even when I helped someone do a successful Kickstarter, because I researched all the successful ones to figure out how to do it, and they were able to be successful in it. But what I told them was, I said, one of the key, I shouldn't be giving away a free game. I'll tell them.
That's actually the next topic. That's number 3.
I'm gonna give it to my team.
So the first one is pitching, the second one's bootstrapping, the third one's actually crowdfunding.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Okay, so I'll give it freebie because it's like Kickstarter is so old now. You should figure this out anyway. But it's before you launch a Kickstarter, get 60% of it already sold and paid for. You go, before you even launch it, go meet with people and get 60% of it. Because when it goes, there's something psychologically that happens to us when we see it go up and wow, this just launched and you already got 60% sold, and you got 27 days left before this closes. I'm in because you're going to people and they've seen that you. So it's psychology, and you're thinking you did your due diligence before, but it's a hack. It's a cheat code. It helps you to level up. Of don't go, and you wonder why some campaigns never go nowhere. It's because they didn't do anything before it. They thought that it was going to be magic and it was going to come on and all this. So that was something that worked many moons ago. I don't know how it is now, but it still seems to make sense to me that you would want to go test the viability of your product before you go put it on the internet.
That's super good.
Mara's got a story to share with.
Yeah, come on.
Oh, well, I definitely have seen the success of it with one of our local restaurateurs, Mr. Teddy Martin of Island Soul. Now, I was there with his very, very first business. And since then, he's moved into a new location and remodeled and is thriving and doing well. But he wanted to take his business to the east side. So what did he do? Solicited support from the community, those people that are benefiting from his Tasty Eats and got their buy-in, and now has recently celebrated, I think, a year in his location on the east side. So, I mean, if you believe in yourself and you follow it up with hard work and the grit that's required, you will definitely make some progress. And so I just wanted to back up a little bit when we talked about bootstrapping, because oftentimes people don't get large amounts of money randomly.
Yep.
However, I'm going to rewind the clock for myself back to, when I was building up my business and my daughter would recognize, okay, it's tax time. What business are we going to start this year? My daughter knew that mama was going to flip whatever money that she got, as a return, instead of going on a vacation or shopping spree or,
multiplying.
that stuff is probably not, probably don't even have the shoes that you bought a couple years ago with your return. So I think if you really focus on what you want and treat your money like an investment in yourself and your legacy, it will come to fruition for you.
That's huge. Shout out to the fact that your daughter was able to recognize that pattern. It takes time and it takes like years of repetition.
Yeah.
So it shows that you were diligent in putting every dollar to use. And real talk, a tactic, so the principles never change. So you got a lot of principles so far already today. The tactic there is, if you're just like tithe, right? You're putting away 10% to give. So if you're putting away, all we can truly control is our own preparation. That's it. Our preparation and our output. We can't control outcomes. So if you really believe in this venture, then you're going to start investing in yourself first. People want to get behind people that are doing it first. I think of, the movie Braveheart. Freedom! You know what I'm saying? Love watching that movie. Hypes me up every single time. Mel did his thing. All right? But they didn't follow him they didn't follow the leader from the back that was like, hey, go free us. You know what I'm saying? William Morris. Get them people out of here. Nah, he was in the front lines. He said, I'm going to get after this. So if you really have this vision, you're like, okay, I want to change my life. I'm willing to work 5 to 9 to escape my 9 to 5.
That's good.
Then, okay, start putting money aside. Because when you are taking action and preparing for something, that's faith in action. That's faith and works. And once you start seeing that bank account get a little bit bigger, even if it's small, sacrifice the coffees. All right, that's probably going to be $50 a week. All right there. Maybe that's $200 a month. As that account grows, now you're like, hey, I've got my own bootstrapped investment fund. All right, now I can take that money, put it into the next thing, and people will see that you're going. And then now when you want to start a Kickstarter, or you want to get on a pitch competition, you can start telling people what you've done and not what you're going to do, and people will just gravitate to that energy. So, yeah, shout out. That's fire. What's next?
Okay, what is next with Jalil? Actually, you can take this on. Is loans.
Yes, financing. Back to me. Okay. Something interesting is, so I had a career in the finance space on the real estate side of things for 4.5 years. And what's interesting is banks love giving money to people that don't need money. Like, real talk, that's the game. Like, you don't need money, you have solid credit, you have cash reserves, you have a gift from a family relative. It is so easy to get a loan. It's when you don't have as much, lower credit score, lower.
I'll loan you $1 million if you got that $1 million.
If you have $1 million in the bank, he'll throw money to you all day because it's safe. From their perspective, it's safe. It's secure. The statistics are higher and in your favor, or at least for the bank's perspective, because they're like, okay, if we give this money out, they're going to be responsible. They're going to do something with it. We're going to get our money back. We're going to get our returns. They don't want to be in a position where they're going to take a loss. Nobody does. So when it comes to getting financing for yourself, one of the strongest things you can do, even if you're saying, hey, I don't have all these family connections or I don't have a bunch of money in the bank right now, that's okay. If you have solid paperwork and a solid strategy of growth and at least a minimum, a little something of a track record, I'm telling you, the conversation is completely different. I had so many people come across my desk, especially self-employed people looking for financing. I'm like, okay, Well, we're gonna need to see those profit and loss statements. Do you have that? Oh, I do that in my compost notebook. Does that work? I said no, it does not. My processors aren't gonna take a look at that for a second. Do you have an Excel sheet? Something?
Excel.
Excel. What's that? I'm like, oh man, you're trying to get a loan? All right. So doing that due diligence, and at minimum, if I was just saying, hey, all right, viewer, you want to get a loan somewhere, where do I start? Just start with organizing your paperwork. Because if you can organize those documents for the bank, I'm telling you, now they can help you get things structured, and they'll know because there's new programs being created at all times because the lending environment is just changing it all the time. But one thing that will not change is they want to see organization, they want to see structure, and they want to see a track record.
True.
So that will never change. And the more organized you are, there was one guy that came in with literally like a PowerPoint. So it's like a presentation thing, except he printed them all off, and he was like, "Here's all the things that I've done," and then he just had it right there, and then he had this fat binder, and he was a real estate guy, so he's like, "Hey, here's the deals I've essentially purchased, closed on," and it was like all in a PowerPoint presentation, but it was printed off and put in a binder. So he rolls up to the bank, and there's his physical representation of his track record. Do you think he had a problem getting a loan? Not at all. So, what is it? The SBA loans?
Small Business Association.
Small Business Association loans. So I would start with going to Google, looking up your nearest SBA representative, and then just start having a conversation. All right? Because there are tons of resources out there for business owners to be able to get yourself positioned to receive the financing that you want. And it all just starts with a conversation. So I don't want to make this seem like it's bigger than it is. Like, oh, what's a P&L? I need to know how to do that. Don't worry about it. Just look up Small Business Association near me. All right? Find a person, get on the phone, and then book a 15-minute phone call with them, or just meet them at the office. I'm telling you, you'll start to create a relationship with them, and they will coach you into what you need to do in order to set yourself up to receive financing. But we've also heard of people that wanted to receive financing before they were ready. You want to tell that story?
No, but but I had one loaded. I had another story loaded up while you were saying that. So maybe I'll remember. I'll remember that story. I'll remember that story, and I'll pull it up another time. Okay. But I had another story that illustrates the principle you were talking about. When you're talking about financing for banks, it's interesting in the relationship with banks that they'll receive our money anyway. We can go into the bank looking just like torn up. They'll receive the money, but then to get that same money out, you got to go dress up and jump through all the hoops. That's just a little anecdotal funny thing. But besides that, when he's talking about getting financing and building having relationships with a banker is highly important. Understand, make friends with bankers. Kathy Hughes, the founder of Radio One, which is the largest African-American owned like radio and media, TV One, all that stuff. When she was trying to buy her first radio station, she went and that was denied and all this. And she credits this one, I forget the woman's name, but it was an Asian woman that gave her a shot. And she was so thankful for that. But she pointed out, and the lady who helped her told her this statement of saying, wow, you really need to let people know who are your friends that are pastors, that they really need to develop strong relationships with the bank, because it makes no sense that they are launching new schools, that they want to launch a school, and then they're putting their thermometer in the church to raise money for a school project. Whereas she's saying, the bank should bless you. That was the most ninja sneeze that I've ever seen. I mean, he was about to explode like the cartoon. He holds it in, and he would have just disappeared, and it would have just been Jalil blew out like a balloon.
See, it doesn't help when you're trying to be ninja, and then you just expose me right here. Like I'm trying to hide it.
I love it. This is live television, y'all. This is how it is. This is why the powers that be do not want the internet to give this much freedom. But with that being said, she pointed out, and she said the pastors are doing this where they're putting the thermometer up to raise money for it, where that same bank that they go and deposit all those offerings and those tithes week to week, millions, that if the bank won't give them the money to go finance the school project that's going to benefit the community, then she says they should collectively go gather those other pastors in the city and say, we're going to move our money to a different bank because that's millions upon millions of dollars. So the point she was making was develop a relationship and develop rapport with banks and leverage that strength of knowing the banks, knowing that's the power of local banks. And I know they're being consolidated and kind of going for the big ones, but that reality, if you still have local banks that you can do commerce with, go do business with those banks. And most importantly, control your own capital, know how to build that capital base and keep it in your circulating in your community. All right. Keep it close. That's all I'm gonna say.
Andre, you can talk about the last one. Or Mari, did you have something to say?
Yeah, there actually are some banks that want to do business with smaller businesses and have incentives. So once again, doing your research, but then I also want to bring some attention to what's in your control is responsible banking, because self-employed people can use bank statements as proof of income. If you don't have, a salary position or whatever, keep it clean. They don't want to see overdraft charges. They don't want to see return checks. If you look into your banking history, is it clean? Does it make you look like you're responsible with money?
Can I say something real quick? Just on that point. So there are loan programs out there that are literally bank statement loans, like to your point. So, and a good tactic for that is if you want to ever use one of those bank statement loans, there's less regulations on some of them, although usually the interest rates are higher because there's more, because
2008, 2009.
Yeah, bingo.
Stated
versus like all this verified and all this stuff. So there are loan programs out there that will allow you to just qualify based on your bank statements. So what you would want to do if that's something that you'd like to do in the future is I would suggest separating your personal account from the business bank account and only run business expenses and business revenues in that business account.
Always.
Do not commingle.
buddies.
Do not commingle, because then you're trying to apply for something, or you're just maybe getting your.
And this is not legal nor financial advice.
Hey, bingo! Yeah. Disclaimer. All right.
entertainment.
This is all entertainment. Okay. But to continue to entertain you, I would suggest within my entertainment, all right, that if you're trying to maintain some credibility with the bank, you don't want to see like Chick-fil-A purchases and the personal finances stuff mixed with your business stuff. It's a little hard to you know what I'm saying? It just makes things a little cloudy. So, just all right. Anyways.
All right.
Okay, the very last one
I
that
think
we
the last
can
one,
just quickly go over is private investors and partners. And I think that just goes back to the conversation about relationships.
Hey, say it on the mic. They can't hear you.
I'm sure they can hear.
No, give it to her so she can say it.
Bossy.
She can say it.
Private investors and partners.
I love it. All right. Michelle was alluding to the relationship aspect and how we must build relationships. So if you want to get people the same way that we talked about with pitching, when you're in front of a room and you want to get people to buy into what it is that your enterprise, there has to be that connection. They have to see. You have to do the WIIFM. What's in it for me? That's what they're on that frequency of. This all sounds nice, but tell me how it's going to turn around and what's going to be the fastest return on my money. Some people want the long play and they don't mind it. They want a longer horizon. They say, hey, I'll give you 10 years. I give you 5 years. I give you whatever. But others are, hey, okay, give me a year. What are you going to do in a year? What are you going to do maybe in even 3 years? What can you do in 3 years? So think about those horizons. Think about what can you do to show that you are, if you're going this, because you're the person that is going to go look for this private money that's coming in. What are the relationships you can cultivate? Where can you be at? Where can you be at these opportunities where you have things like startup weekends or hackathons or venture capital, where that type of money is around, because they're looking for who's the idea person. They're looking for who's the developer, who's the coder. They're looking for the person who can represent the firms that are there to bring financing behind it. It's like farm scouting. It's like it's no different than the baseball with the farm league, or they're going in there they're looking for who's the hottest talent, and they're looking for who can they pick the pick of the litter that they can buy it cheap. It's the same way that you would go. We think that people are just such great humanitarians when they're holding these art fairs and things. No, they're scouting to see. I want to buy early before everybody else gets hip to this. I want to buy low so I can go sell high. So they're fielding a place where the people can come and do that. So launch your own hackathon. Don't be oh, I can't say that. Just don't exploit the talent. That's all I'm going to say. I was going to say something that was a pop reference, but it probably wouldn't be appropriate to say for here.
Right.
There we go.
Go with that feeling.
There we go. Go with that feeling.
So, private investors is one way to go. People typically get early buy-in from their family. Some people discourage that. However, if your family believes in you and they want to support you, you just want to make sure you're dotting all your I's and crossing your T's, so you can be the best entrepreneur that you can possibly be. Now, there are other ways, of course, to get money to get your business started, but those are 5 great ones for you to research. Of course, grants are an option, but we don't really encourage depending on grants. However, I came across 2 websites that you could possibly check out if you wanted to look into grants: Hello Alice and Entreprenista. So, as well as many others in your community, if you tap into what state options and resources are available to you. But that's a whole nother skill set. You could delegate to someone else, or you could dive in and fill out the applications yourself. However, there's a lot of people competing for grant dollars. So we refer the 5 that we introduced earlier. That's your best option for success.
Okay, my last thing, because I know we're about to close out here soon. When we're talking about other people's money, OPM, venture capital fund, private investor, or looking for a bank loan, any of these things, or family especially, you want to have a heart set and a mindset to serve. Like, no dollar that's invested in you will be a deficit. Like, you want to be making a return on everything. When with Island Soul, raising money from the community to create this expansion, best believe the community only gave because these people have had a track record of service, right? Like, you're not gonna attract more money if you're not valuing every dollar that comes into your sphere. So it's what will be attractive is your heart and your service, and which means it can't just be about you. You can't this whole venture, the heart of the business. Oftentimes it starts out of a place of survival. It starts out of a place of, I'm not satisfied with what I'm currently doing, so I need to do something where I feel free, but at the end of the day, the most successful businesses become successful because it's not about the founder. It's not about you. It's about who you're serving. So if you keep that heart set there, you'll be fine.
And on that note, we will see you. We have our pitch competition coming up on May 28th. Don't be late. So May 28th, we'll be there, 5:30 here at the headquarters, 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. Perfect. Make sure you do that because we don't want you to tune in some other day, some other time. So those of you that are in the future, we look forward to your investment and your involvement. Do all the YouTube-y stuff. Please like, share, subscribe, comment so that the algorithm can hit the notification bell. What are you waiting for? You've been getting all this great content and you haven't subscribed yet? You haven't hit that notification bell? You haven't dropped us a comment of, this is how I funded my business. Show us some of the things that you're doing to fund your business and what you've looked into and what's worked and what's not worked. Tell us we were completely wrong. We don't know what we're talking about. Tell us that we need to get better. Do something that interacts so that the algorithm picks us up. We appreciate you and we value you, and we will see you next week. Shalom, shalom.